Oh,
Patiently.
let's go.
All right. Hey, there she is.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? You got everything working?
Fantastic. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, sorry, I had too much stuff connected, so I had to disconnect some things up here. So
I get it. I live in the country, and without internet, I'm completely cut off from the outside world. Nothing, my phone, because I don't have cell service or anything. So, and I work
Wow.
remotely, so when mine goes down, it's a whole thing.
oh wow, okay. So where are you at?
Yeah.
I'm in southern Ohio, literally the southernmost portion of Ohio, where Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia meet. It's all kind of the same place. Like I'm
Okay.
actually from my husband and I both are actually from across the river in Kentucky, but it's like 5 minutes. It's all the same area.
So you're in the heart of Cryptid Central there,
Yeah.
pretty much,
Bigfoot.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we live, where we live specifically, we have like a lot of like grassman on the Ohio side, um across, it's arose by any other name. Like we have some kind of Sasquatch situation everywhere, and then the cougar, that's a big one. My husband is a massive, like, we have a cougar fanatic, and we have a lot of scary animals that are not cryptids, like bobcats and coyotes, and but the big cryptids that we get the most over here are like Sasquatch situation and the cougars.
You had mentioned that you had said he thought there was a wampus cat
Yeah,
on your property,
yeah.
and we can get in that in a little bit. But for the listeners, you are the first founding member of the U.S. branch of the Cryptid Women's Society.
Yes.
And we kind of saw you walking around. You had the shirt on, and we talked to you. And we had Lisa and Juliet on from down under there,
Yep.
where they're at. How did you find out about the Cryptid Women's Society, and how did you get involved in that?
Well, I'm in grad school. I'm close to finishing. I've got one more semester in one program and two more classes in another. I'm in two different programs, and I'm in historical anthropology and cryptozoology. But I don't come from a background, like, my undergraduate is in HIM, is in health information medical technology, because I'm a medical coder. That's my day job, and so I realized one day you could go to grad school for anything you wanted. It didn't have to be related to what you went for your undergrad. And I was like, pre-pandemic, I played roller derby, and now I don't, and I live out in the country now. And so I was like, school's just going to be my hobby. I'm going to go back to school for something that I'm interested in. My husband's retired from the Marine Corps, and so the VA paid for my undergrad. And I was like, cool, they'll pay for my master's. And then I got into the master's and realized it's way more expensive than undergrad. They only pay for like half of it. And so then I was like, okay, well, now I feel some pressure to maybe use this degrees and do something with them. What do people with these credentials who don't come from a background of teaching do? So I got on the internet, on LinkedIn, and just started looking up people that had similar educational credentials. Like I found, Lauren Coleman and Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and just started like following the rabbit hole of people that they were connected to. And I just came across this one girl who is said founder of the Crypto Women's Society, and this light bulb just went off, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but this is something. And so in LinkedIn, it wasn't really much going on there. So I went to Facebook, because in the States, Facebook, especially for like geriatric millennials, Facebook is like our main social media. But the social media for the Crypto Women's Society wasn't super active at the time. And so I was like, oh, maybe this isn't a thing after all. And so then I went to Instagram, and that is where they were doing most of everything. And they were very active. And I was like, okay, this is a thing. So I went to their website, and that night, I was like, okay, I've got a gut feeling about this. This is going to be something. And I just joined. And the next day, I got on a Zoom call with both of them. And we talked for like 3 hours or something. And I got off the phone, and I just was like, this is going to be something. This is going to be important. And so it's been a little over a year now that I've been with them, and we've already grown quite a bit since that I joined. And like, we have a lot going on that is coming up. Today, they just launched the blog, and all of the members can contribute, can write their own submissions to and they've got so many cool ideas coming, and I was right. It is important, and it is something now, and it's going to be something. And I think that they're going to be able to really do a lot for women in the field.
I did see that you posted a story on there. I
Yes.
haven't read it yet, but I'm going to.
Yes,
So
this is my
that sounds
first one. This
interesting.
one was on Grylo the Christmas Witch.
Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
It's an Icelandic story. I specialize in Appalachian folklore and cryptids, but I just really love the story of Grylo the Christmas Witch. And it's an Icelandic story from the oldest like written record is like of the 1600s, but they think that it's probably been around orally from long before that. And she didn't used to be a Christmas story. She was just a winter tale. And then somewhere along the way in like maybe the 1800s, her story kind of got intertwined with the Yule Cat and the Yule Lads. And she just became this like matriarch of this terrible family that eats people. And it all goes back to just with the same thing a lot of folklore tales do, a lot of cryptid stories even do, that were just out there to teach us how to understand our world in tangible ways that we could grasp long before we really could understand them, like staying inside when it's dark, don't go in the woods, make sure your fires are hot, make sure your chores are done and your doors are locked, and just ways to keep kids safe and each other safe before we really knew how to grasp that.
So before I forget, tell us about the roller derby thing. How did you get involved in that?
I'm a very impulsive person, but so you can see some of my skates right there. I don't know if you can see. I've got a pair of roller skates right there. I love vintage things, and I used to get tagged all the time on Facebook about these something called the Moxie Street Skate Team, and it's really popular in like Atlantic City and LA and like coastal areas. And they're these just girls that wear these are Moxie skates. They're like boardwalk skates, like what you would see on TV in like the 80s. And they would just go out and skate in bowls and skate parks and stuff. And I used to share those on Facebook, and I was like, this is so cool. I would love to do something like this. And I would post videos of roller derby, and I was like, why doesn't this exist anymore? This looks so fun. And then I worked at a tattoo convention many years ago, and this girl just skated by on roller skates, and she was like, you look like somebody who would like to do roller derby. And I was like, I would love to do this. And my husband looked at me, he said, no, like I never tell you no, but please let this be the thing that you hear the no. And I was like, I'm just gonna go check it out. I'm not gonna skate, I'm just gonna go. And I went that day, and I was like, this is it. This is for me. This is the place I have to be. And now that girl's still one of my best friends. And I played for 5 years, and many injuries later that put me out for a long time. I had to have a shoulder surgery on a busted shoulder right as COVID hit. And they were like, this is not an injury you can do again. If you do this again, we have to get a prosthetic. And I was like, I guess I can't do this anymore because it's unavoidable. And I was like, I'm going to do this again.
So how dangerous is it? Is it hardcore? Like, are you slamming into, like, are you knocking people down and
yes,
busting
and
up
it's
stuff
a bit
and
different than like back in the day, like in the 70s, where they were just like brawling. It's very
Right.
structured and regulated now. There are rules. You can't hit with anything. But you hit from shoulders to knees, and you can't do anything with your arms, like it's torsos. So you're using your shoulders and your hips a lot to hit, but it's still dangerous. It's still full contact because you're moving very fast all the time, and so is everybody else on the track. And there's like 12 of you on there skating forwards, backwards, jumping, diving all the time. It's very fast. It's really difficult to understand it until you do. Like when you're watching it as a spectator, if you don't know the rules, it's very confusing, and then it's like one day you just get it. But until then, it is just chaos on wheels.
That is
But
wild.
it's great. It's great, and they're everywhere. A lot of people don't know that they're out there, but I
We have roller
guarantee
derby
you.
up here.
Yeah. What
Really?
team is near you?
South Bend.
South Bend Sissies?
I
Okay.
can't. No,
No, I don't know. I'm just
I mean,
making it up.
they're the
I did
crazy.
not
remember
know
the
we
name,
had
but
roller derby
it's in
around
South
here.
Bend.
If
Yeah.
you Google it, there's probably one within 20 to 30 minutes of everybody.
No
Or at
kidding.
least driving distance. Maybe not quite that close, but like originally I played for the Poison Apple Roller Derby, And then that team, we merged into Chemical Valley Roller Girls. And we had the coolest logo and the coolest name, but the best, other than ours, the best one I thought we ever played was against, uh, they were in Pennsylvania and they were called Perv. And it was like, I don't remember what the E stands for, Pittsburgh East or Philadelphia East Roller Vixens or something. But their team name was actually the Gal Capones. And
Oh,
their logo is
That's
so
awesome.
cool, and it's like this girl holding a gun on a roller skate. It's so cool.
sounds scary to me. I don't know if I
It
would
is
mess
scary.
with that.
I'm not gonna lie. It's terrifying. That's like the jammers are the ones that you see, and the people that are like skating out away from the groups that make the laps, and they're the ones that can score. But they're the ones that all those other people are trying to stop at the same time. So most people like you're really really fast or really agile and nimble, and very clumsy. So
Mm.
the few times that I did have to do it, my whole strategy was just running for my life. Like, just don't let them catch you because then nobody can knock you down. But it's
Yeah, I
very
can't
Can't
even
fun.
be.
walk right, hardly roller skate, so
Oh
that
no,
would be not my thing
I
anymore. So,
I said I got hurt a lot.
so what got you into this? Were you into cryptozoology? Were you into Bigfoot back when you were younger? Did you believe in Bigfoot? Did you have a sighting? Did you know somebody? What started all this for you to venture down this road? Is it just because your location, or
A little bit. I think I'm probably one of like the few cryptozoologists that don't have some like life altering cryptid encounter that got me interested in this. I grew up we were creepy kids, like I grew up with a lot of cousins and a lot of kids were around and we were just creepy kids. We liked spooky stories and uh, we watched Tales from the Crypt and all those like and scary movies in the 80s. Like we just liked that stuff. And so I always thought it was interesting. Um, then which like a lot of people in my area, there's snipe hunting. Are you all familiar with snipe hunting? And so that was a thing that my family would do to the boys when they reached a certain age at Christmas time. I thought that that was a normal thing. I thought everyone knew about snipe hunting. I only recently learned that snipes are real birds. They just live in Europe and they're not native here. But I tried to do some research on snipe hunting to write an article on it, and there's not really anything out there about it. You would think it didn't exist, except for everyone here knows what it is, which was wild. But yeah, I've always been interested in the lore of it, the stories. And then as I got older, especially because I've moved all over the country and moved back here, and there's something different about the Appalachian area. And it's even if your neighbor, like my closest neighbors are 2 miles away anywhere you go. And still, I call them my neighbors because they're my closest. And even if you don't like your neighbors, there's this kind of camaraderie and this us versus them mentality that we have, and like a protectiveness that we have around each other. And I think that it's because no matter whether you grew up in the foothills like where I am, or way up in Pennsylvania, like the northern part, or even out in the Carolinas, like where the Blue Ridge starts, if you're no matter where you are in Appalachia, we all grew up hearing the same stories. We all grew up knowing if you hear something in the woods, no, you didn't. If you hear something whistle, you don't whistle back. You don't, we all learned those. And in Appalachia, you can live very rural, and it can be very isolating. But in that respect, we are all together in the sense that no matter how isolated you are, we all heard those things. We all grew up that same way, and it created this kind of camaraderie that I think is different from anywhere else that I've ever lived. And I think that I kind of romanticize that a little bit, and that as an adult made me want to know more about where these stories come from. Did we make these things up, or did somebody bring these stories over from somewhere else, and why did they tell them? How did it shape what we do now? How did it shape what our ancestors did? And so I kind of love the lore about it, and that's why I love being able to study anthropology and folklore as well as cryptozoology, because I think they kind of go hand in hand, getting to determine what's real, what's a real animal that people saw, and what's a story that our great 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 grandparents made up to keep their kids safe.
Very cool. So what's your how many conventions have you been to now, and what's your favorite one?
I don't know how many I've been to. This year alone, I've lost count of how many I've been to. But I think I really liked CryptidCon. That was my first time going. I thought that one was it's a lot less stressful at a multiple day event where you're not having to make the hours long drive to get there and back in the day, and you can kind of relax and not be in such a rush. Also, being indoors was really nice. You don't have to worry about extreme weather. But other than that, I think my favorite one that I did was Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival. I went to so many Bigfoot festivals this year. I'm writing my master's thesis on the Appalachian Sasquatch and the belief and the lore behind it. So I liked being able to hear all the different presenters and hear the different. I was lucky enough to get to hear Dr. Jeff Meldrum's presentation at Red River and got to speak with him there, which was really nice, especially since he recently unexpectedly passed. And he also was an anthropologist. And so I really admired him because I love that he had a foot in both ponds of the academic world and the fringe science world. So I loved the presenters of that one. I think that it was a fantastic event. It was massive and it was really hot, but it was a free event. Like you didn't have to pay to get in. You didn't have to pay to interact with any of the presenters, to have pictures with or autographs with or whatever. They had tons of free stuff for kids, like Bigfoot bounce houses and life-size Yeti in my spaghetti games and like all kinds of fun. The library came and there was like all these Bigfoot crafts and there were fortune tellers and they did some cool presentations too. It wasn't just experts on Bigfoot. It was survival, how to survive in the wilderness if you get lost in the woods. And the search and rescue team came out and talked about like what to do in a search and rescue situation. And they did like prepping, like doomsday prepping. Like there was all kinds of really interesting. As someone who has been to a lot of these this year alone, you see a lot of the same presenters at a lot of these events. And so it was a nice change of pace to have some very different types of presentations there.
Yeah, we like CryptidCon too. That's probably one of our favorites.
Yeah, is that the first time that you all had been, or had you been before?
No, that's probably our fourth year.
Fourth year, yeah. But that's the first year of the Red River. What was it called?
Red River Gorge
Red River
Bigfoot
Gorge.
Festival.
Was that put on by I can't think of his name right now.
I don't remember who put it on, but Charlie was the MC.
Charlie, I thought he put that on, but that was their first year. If it was that big, Brian, you and I should go to check that out next year.
I think so.
It's not our driving range. We're in northern Indiana, but we can make it there. So
I think it was one of the ones that I drove the furthest to. It was like 3.5 hours from me. The one that I went to the farthest was the Ohio Bigfoot Conference in Salt Fork. That's like 4 hours. That was the farthest.
Yeah, we were there too. Yeah, we've been there past 3 years. I'm not sure if we're going to go this year. We're going to try to make it out to.
Yeah, we did see you walking around there.
It was a different. It was a different vibe at that one. It was it was informative, but it was very serious. It wasn't like a lot of like fun, interactive, upbeat. Except for then there was the Wild and West Virginia guides walking around in like the alien costume. But it felt a little stuffy. But it was very informative. I guess it just depends on why you're going to the festival, but it was definitely very serious compared to a lot of them. There weren't any cosplay contests going on at that one.
No, there wasn't.
Which I'm going to do next year at CryptidCon. I'm going to do it.
What are you going to dress up as?
What are you going to dress up?
I don't know. I think I'm going to bring my dog because I didn't know you could bring dogs. I have 3 golden retrievers, but one of them is a runt. Yeah, there was dogs there all over the place. There was a girl in the cosplay contest who was Mothman, and she dressed her dog up as Moth Dog. It was like a little dog. But I have a golden retriever who's the runt, so she's only like, I don't know. She looks like a puppy. She's half the size of all my other ones. And I think I'm going to bring her, and then I'm going to put her in a little suit. And I think she's going to be a Men in Black. I think I'm just going to be like fashion some kind of UFO, like out of a hula hoop, and make it look like I'm getting abducted by an alien spaceship. I don't know how I'm going to make it work yet. But
Sounds good.
my friend that was with
Sounds
me,
like fun.
she wants to be a squonk.
Oh, nice.
Heard of that.
Yeah.
That's a weird looking.
She loves it.
What
It
was
grosses me
looking
out. I don't even like to look at pictures of
bird?
it.
Where's that from? What is a squonk?
I thought they were
Pennsylvania.
cute. They're like a little.
Is it?
It's like
I
a
don't even know how to
warty,
describe it. Like a
naked,
pig.
roly pig with like warts all over it, and it cries a lot because it's a very self-aware cryptid. It cries because it knows it's ugly and that it knows people think it's ugly, but it also cries over people who cut down trees. It's very complex.
Okay. It's drama. Sounds like
It's
a lot
very
of drama.
dramatic.
It sounds like it.
The squonk. I don't even like that name.
No, I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the cut of his jib.
Man, what? I thought it was cute.
No, but that conference there in Red River, that sounds awesome. They need to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, have interaction for kids and everybody, different things like that. A lot of the conferences we go to are that way. It's just kind of like, CryptiCon's probably the coolest one we go to. We've been to the Indiana Bigfoot Conference, which is small, but we've been to quite a few around here. We're gonna try to go out to the Mount Hood Bigfoot Festival in April out in Oregon.
I was gonna say, like in Oregon.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try to venture out west and
I lived there for a little while.
make
I
it
lived
big.
like
What
on
part?
the side of it.
What part?
I lived in like the Portland and southern Washington section.
Oh,
Okay, so
Still-
Vancouver area,
Still nice up
Vancouver
there.
area.
Portland and then Longview, Washington.
I know where that's at.
Yeah.
They have the big conference out there.
Is that where
Did you
it
ever go
is?
to that conference there
No,
in
I didn't. I
Longview?
didn't back then. That was like 13 years ago. But I was out there visiting family over the summer in the Portland area, and they're a little like maybe like a little south of Portland now. So, but while I was out there, the day that I flew out to come back, I stopped by the North American Bigfoot
Hmm.
Center there, and
Cliff
wasn't there that day, but
No.
he was very. They had this. I love snow globes, and they had this rain globe there that I would not shut up about, and it had a Bigfoot holding an umbrella. And when you flipped it over, it rained. I don't know how it worked, but it rained from the top of it. But I couldn't take it on the plane because I didn't check a bag. And I was like, I could probably buy this on Amazon. You can't. There's like one company that makes these rain globes, and they only make them for specific businesses in specific parts of the country that are very rainy, and you can only get them there. And so I emailed the shop, and I was like, this isn't on your website. Can I buy one of these? And when I saw him at CryptiCon, he was like, I will send you one. I was like, he was very nice about it.
Did he send you one yet?
He hasn't yet.
Okay. Well, if not, the next time we go out there, we'll look for one. We've been there a couple times. So
they have it's a
We'll go
great
out there.
museum. I liked it.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, if we get out there and you don't have one by then, we'll pick one up.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll bring it back. I always have carry on, so.
I usually do, but it was the first time I was flying with kids, and it was just me and both of my kids who were 12 and 9, and they had never flown before, and I was like, my life would just be easier if we weren't checking bags.
You're right.
And so, but then, and I was like, also, this will prevent me from buying so many things while I'm visiting. It didn't. I should have just checked a bag.
It's too bad they couldn't have shipped it to you, but anyway.
They might have if I had asked. I just didn't make a big deal out of it at the time. Because I was like, I'm sure I can buy this on Amazon. Because you can buy everything on Amazon, but you can't buy those.
Interesting. So tell us about the Wampus cat that you said your husband, has he seen it on your property? And what is it? What's it look like? Or what do you guys think it is?
I have an article on the blog, on the Cryptid Women's Society blog, coming out on that probably after Christmas, on the Wampus cat as well. We live on a 195-acre property that butts right up against Wayne National Forest. The original owners of the property actually sold a big chunk of what is off of our property that is now Wayne National. So it all used to be part of the same property. And so we have, like I said, we don't have a lot of neighbors. We have like one direction, like 2 miles, we got a neighbor, 2 miles, we got some neighbors, but the other direction, like maybe 3 miles one side until you hit the edge of it, but then the other direction's a park. So there's nobody out there. But my husband hunts, and he's seen tons of bobcats in like from his blinds, like bobcats walking like right in front of him, and also on the cameras. But then there's been other times where he's seen cats that he swears are either a cougar or a wampus cat because they're way too big to be a bobcat. The wampus cat, I don't know. The Wampus Cat's one that I'm torn on because it's kind of an old timer's tale. You really don't hear about it anymore. And it was kind of the thing that like older generations talked about a lot. So if it existed, I think that it probably didn't look exactly like what they said that it looked like because it was a big black cat that had the head and body of a panther, and it had like white kind of stripy spots on its back. It had a 9 foot long tail that was as strong as a kangaroo's, and it had front feet like a badger, and the back feet were cloven like a deer. So I think that it probably, if it existed, it might have been a cougar. But there are people out there, like people who have dedicated their lives to the Wampus Cat, that they think that the Wampus Cat, the Snallygaster, and nope, not the Snallygaster, the Wampus Cat, the Wailing Wampus, and some other Ozark cat are like related in the same, like they're cousins of the same species, and then collectively they are responsible for the decline or extinction of the North American cougar. I think that it was possible that maybe they were seeing a cougar of some sort, like maybe these things did exist at some point and they were cougars that just aren't out there anymore or are very rare. Like, lots of people here think that they see cougars, and my husband is one of them. He swears up and down there is at least one out there. So in the story of the Wampus Cat, they will come in the winter. It's winter especially because they normally try to avoid people, but in the wintertime there's less animals out there for them to feed on. So, and because there's less people out traditionally outside doing farm chores and harvesting, they're coming closer and closer to livestock, and they will eat your livestock and small children, assumedly if left alone. So they that was a big warning story, was to stay inside, keep your fires hot, keep your livestock safe, pin your livestock up at night, put them in the barn, don't leave them out, and don't go into the woods. So I don't know if I think that if it was real, I think that it probably it looked a bit different than maybe what the story has twisted into. I don't doubt that there was at least cougars because we know they were out there at some point. And so I think that if they're still out there, I think it's probably a cougar.
Would your husband shoot a cougar again if he saw one, and just in fear that it would be
I
around
don't
your
know.
house? I mean, you have kids and
Maybe
everything, right? So
he didn't shoot the bobcat, and he was not far from our house. I do not like the bobcats coming that close to the house. That because we have 3 dogs and they roam. We don't have a fenced in area for them. Like, I don't really see the point in having a 3-mile property to have to fence them in. So we let them run, but this bobcat was close to the house. Like, there's a watering hole that's a cistern, an old cistern that has like backed up over the years, that it's made kind of like a little pond, and it's not even a football field away, maybe a football field away from the house, and he was just right there and that's where he saw it. So if there was a massive cougar, I don't know, maybe he would shoot it, but I don't know that he would, because I think he would realize that this is really rare. And so I think he would at least try to get a picture of it to prove that he saw it. I think he would only shoot it if he felt threatened by it. Like I said, he didn't shoot the bobcat, and it was inches away. So I think he would only do it if he felt like he had to.
That's scary having big cats that close to the house.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, the coyotes are
I mean,
scary. They
Bob,
sound scary, but I'm
right.
way more scared of having big cats, even bobcats,
Mhm.
that close, because they
well,
are ruthless.
if your dogs are
Well,
traveling, if you said what kind of dogs you have? Do you say
Golden
Labradors?
retrievers.
So you got what, 3 of those? If they're traveling around in their pack, there's no bobcat that's gonna mess with them, and I don't think
that's
bobcats
true.
travel in packs.
We have
They're more
cats too.
alone.
We have outdoor, like, barn cats, and
Yeah,
one of them
I
did
don't
we've
know.
had 2 missing now in the 2 years that we've lived here. One, I think Irish goodbye. I think he wasn't doing too hot when we moved here, but one was not that, was like a year old, and he just vanished one day. So I don't know if it's
Well,
bobcat
could
or
have been a cat.
coyote, but
Mhm.
something I think picked him off.
Well, where you're at, you've probably got everything going on there between bobcats, mountain lions, cougars, whatever you want to call them. And on the Wampus cat, real quick, we had a Wampus cat encounter on our show. I can't remember what episode it was,
Awesome.
but
Yeah, I
the
don't
way the guy
remember either.
described it was he was a kid like 12 years old, but it was just a huge looking mountain lion with kind of a different kind of face, like a different kind of nose, different structured face. But basically, it was just a overgrown a cat that when it sitting down, its head was like 4 or 5 feet high. As tall as he
Yeah.
was at that time. So it's
It could have been a
possible.
wampus, but it could have also been a cougar.
Yeah,
I
I
think that
mean,
it's
maybe he could have overanalyzed it and thought it was
yeah.
bigger, but
Well, and I think if you saw a cougar in real life, like a real cougar in the woods, I think you wouldn't really be able to, because those things are supposed to be extinct in North America. So I think that and they are massive. So I think that it might be hard for your brain to process what you're seeing, and you might immediately go to it's a monster. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to say that I am, but I think that it's more likely that a wampus cat is out there, or not. Sorry, I think it's more likely that a cougar is still alive out there somewhere than a wampus cat. I think if we're to believe that the real wampus cat had cloven back feet, because
Right.
that's crossing species borders,
Yeah,
and
that's out there.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but who knows? I mean, I, well, I don't know where this kid lived, but Appalachia runs deep. Like there it is.
Oh yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that could be out there, because there's even the most populated parts are still s- sparsely populated compared to other areas. And I mean, some of those rural places, natives, and if you talk to the natives, like the native population always knows what's out there. And even if they don't try to prove it, because they don't, it's normal to them. So like, yeah, that's out there. Like, no, I don't have pictures of it because I'm not trying to get eaten. I'm not trying to go out there and find it. It's not, cat's gonna cat. Like, it's gonna do its thing. It's not hurting me, so I'm not going after it.
I believe there could be some mountain lions, cougars living
Yeah.
in the Appalachian Mountains for sure.
Too many people say they see them, I think, for it to be completely extinct. And it's
Mhm.
not unheard of. And we hear living fossils all the time that
Mhm.
we think are gone and are still out there in small numbers. And quite honestly, I kind of lean that way with Bigfoot too. I know that Lisa and Juliet are on the extraterrestrial or interdimensional being situation, but um, I am on the primate train of Bigfoot, and I lean towards. I definitely think it absolutely existed at some point, probably in large numbers, because all over the world for thousands of years we have records of it. But I think that I think it's possible that there are still places out there in the world that it exists in smaller numbers. I think that it's some kind of missing link type in between of you know gorillas and large primates and humans, and so I think that that's the same way. I think that there are probably still creatures out there that we think are gone, but we think that we've discovered all of the world, but I mean, we're very small creatures and the world is very large and we can't know everything. There's parts of the world that we just don't research. We don't go. There's places that we're not welcome to go. Outsiders are not welcome to go. And I think that it's very arrogant of us to assume that we've just figured it all out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So in your research for your paper, did you get a chance to talk to any old natives around
Uh, I,
your area?
I've gotten a lot of there's in Carter County, Kentucky, which is so right across the river is Boyd County, and then the next county over is Carter County, and that's where Carter Cave State Park is. And it's a cave, like it's a state park. So there's hiking trails and stuff. But there's a underground cave system, and um, I met a park ranger there on a Bigfoot. They did an organized Bigfoot hike, and I went there, and she gave me all the documentation, as long as the park has been a park, of sightings of any kind of semi Bigfoot-esque creature. And they have the multiple reports of a white Sasquatch that keeps being seen in this one area of the park. And I thought that was really interesting. That's the first one that I had. I mean, I know when I was in Oregon, I was in this little town called Albany, Oregon, and they had this small local history museum, and they were running an X-Files exhibit in that museum. And I went there, and it was all these weird things that had happened in the town and its existence. And they had a white Sasquatch there. And um, I think that it's similar to like the Boggy Creek area where they had that like three-toed casting that they had found. I think it's probably like a genetic anomaly. I don't think it's like a Yeti, but I talked to people. They had records there of all these original sightings. So I have compiled a ton of historic records, but then also I think people don't realize that you probably know someone that has a Bigfoot story. Like everybody probably knows somebody. You just have to ask, because a lot of people aren't just out there waving that flag, like sitting on that, like that meme, like of the guy sitting at the table with a sign that's like I'll fight with you about anything. He's not like asking me about my Bigfoot story, because a lot of people get made fun of still and laughed at it. And so I think if you go to Christmas dinner and you say, "Hey, does anybody have a Bigfoot story, or does anybody ever seen something weird that they couldn't explain, an alien story, anything?" And I think you'll be surprised at the stories. I think that's also with true crime. I think you can even be like, "Does anybody have any true crime stories?" Like everybody knows somebody that has some kind of encounter. So I asked when I very first started my research, I was like, "Hey, does anybody have a Bigfoot story, or do you know anybody that has a Bigfoot story?" And I posted it on Facebook. Tons of people that I know personally who have never spoken to me about this said, "Oh, I do. I saw this, this, and this." And then they were tagging people left and right. This person has it. And so like I've compiled a lot of of uh, first person reports of I saw this at this time. And I haven't actually done any follow-up research yet to validate those claims. I'm still in the like research compiling stage of my thesis. So when I get to like actual field research, to the extent that I can, I'm going to try to dig into the credibility of all the sightings, or maybe if I can find someone else who could corroborate that they've also seen something in the area or whatever. But I have met a lot of people with a lot of Bigfoot stories over the last 6 months since I've been working on this project. I'm telling you though, when I'm done with this, I think I'm Bigfooted out. When I'm done with this project, like I need a break from Bigfoot. Unless he shows up at my door wanting to have a conversation, I need a break.
Hey, where you live, it's entirely possible. You never know.
My 10-year-old swears up and down that he had a grassman encounter when we first moved here. Swears. Can't tell him otherwise.
Tell us about it.
Wow.
He didn't see it. It's pitch black here without, like, once the sun sets, you cannot see. And you can't see your hand in front of your face. And one of the things that he really loved when we moved here is that he could go on the porch and pee off the back porch, and nobody could see him. And so it was summertime, and he went out there, and he was getting like pebbles thrown at him, and swears up and down you can't tell him that it wasn't the grass man.
Hey, it very well could have been. I mean, there's not
Could have been.
there's no animals that throw rocks other than
No.
Humans and apes.
I something I did not know, and I did not come across in any of my research. It wasn't until we went to the Bigfoot Center in Boring that Bigfoot likes chocolate and peanut butter. I had no idea. And so I was like, well, now maybe you just got to leave it out. Let's set a trap.
Yeah, we've heard that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've got that casting of the like Nutella jar or something out there at the Bigfoot Center. Like you can see where like the
With
Bigfoot.
fingers,
Yeah.
Yep. I think Bigfoot likes anything that we would make for him, honestly. I mean, throw a Little Caesar's pizza or two out there.
Right.
I mean, they're gonna eat the hell out of that.
If he actually is, a less evolved form of us, I mean, in theory, he would probably like most of the things that we like. mean, they
Yeah, we
probably
don't
are
want to.
a bit smart enough to not eat
I was
like
going to say we don't want
Doritos
to.
or
We don't want
something
to
that's like,
poison Bigfoot.
yeah,
Then,
like
so.
horribly processed. But yeah, I would think there probably wouldn't be much that they wouldn't like that we like.
They're like, no, 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 no processed foods for me. Thanks,
No,
thanks, thanks. No Doritos for me. No,
but
they
very
would tear up
bougie
a bag of
Bigfoot.
Doritos. Yeah, right. You have any grilled salmon over there for
Yeah.
me, please? So, what's your favorite cryptid?
I'm a sucker for the sea monsters, the water monsters. I think the idea of what lives under the ocean is so much more terrifying than anything that could live on land.
See, you and me. You
Even
and me.
even just
I
sharks
love
that
the
we
water
know
monsters.
exist right now are so much
Mm.
scarier than any cryptid
Oh yeah.
story. So to think that there is like a massive sea monster living at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, I want to believe that the megalodon, like the Meg, that movie, The Meg, that's what's true. They're all living down there. I want to believe that they're still down there. I love a sea monster.
I think they
Um,
are.
I just started research today, trying to dig up stories on the Ohio River monster that people
Ooh.
I even have a little tiny, you can't see it right now. I have a little tiny, well, it's a plesiosaur, but it's a little tiny Nessie tattoo behind my ear right here. I
Yeah, that's
also choose
Brian's
to
favorite
believe
cryptid,
that
the
it's
old
the
Nessie, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah,
Nessie.
That's
That's
your
Nessie.
my
favorite
Yeah,
one?
favorite.
Nessie's my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
That's my like top favorite, but I love like the whole category of water
Oh yeah, me
monsters,
too.
sea
Yeah, me
monsters.
too. Even the what are those ones called in Scotland?
Oh, like the kelpies and like where
Yes,
the
the kelpies.
well,
Yeah.
see, Scotland like during Pangea, the Scottish Highlands and the
Ireland.
Appalachians were the same mountain range. They were the central Pangean mountain range. That's why they look really similar now. Like, and that's why a lot of immigrants, of Scots Irish immigrants, moved here, settled here because it reminded them so much of the mountains at home. So we have a lot of similar folklore stories and cryptid stories. And I don't think that's coincidence because for one, people could have brought the stories with them, but also if the mountains were all the same mountain range and then they split, they would have similar creatures living in them. So there are a lot of kind of overlapping cryptid stories there and here, and like we have the river spirits, which are sound very similar to the kelpies, and then we have they have the wild man, I think they call it, which is their Bigfoot. And then we have second sight, which is an Appalachian term for basically like having some kind of like supernatural gift, like a witchy woman kind of, and they have something similar there. They have the fairies, and we have the little folk, the little forest folk. There's all kinds of names from. There's a lot of overlap in our cryptid stories. One of the most interesting, I think, is they have a blue. They have, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but they have a story that is these blue water spirits that are supposed to like be similar to sirens, and they are this whole like race of these blue people that are supposed to like lure people to their death into the water. But in Kentucky, have you ever heard of the blue people of Kentucky? It's not a cryptid story, it's real. There was a family, um, don't ask me the year, but it's very Googleable, the blue people of Kentucky. And
Yeah, I have to look that up.
it was a family of people that had this crazy rare genetic disorder, and it was back when it was very common for inbreeding. And so this genetic disorder carried on through generations of their family, and they were blue. Their skin was very blue. And so I find that very interesting that even that, like, is it possible that that wasn't a cryptid in Scotland? It was this group of people that had this genetic anomaly that then also immigrated here and carried it over, and it
Is that
just
where the Smurfs come from, you think, maybe?
Well,
I don't know. I've never thought about that. I mean,
Hmm.
well, you know
Were they little?
I
Were they
mean,
short little people?
all legends are based in some kind of
yeah, I
fact.
mean,
So
nobody has an original idea. Everything comes from somewhere.
right.
That one guy that he ate something and his skin turned blue. Did you remember that guy? What
I
have you seen
remember the Willy
that dude?
Wonka character that did that.
There's a guy in real life, like he ate something
No, in real
some kind of
life?
chemical. He's got a
Never,
white beard, and
never
he
heard of
just
that.
his skin was turned blue. I'll have to Google it.
That's a
Talk amongst
terrifying
yourselves, whatever. Here's a
that's a
topic for
terrifying
later.
thing to know that that's a
Yeah, I
possibility.
got it. I'll
Yeah,
find
no
it. Go
kidding.
ahead.
Oh, no,
You guys haven't heard of this guy? Okay.
No.
no.
No, but yeah, there's a lot of overlap in cryptid lore, and kelpies are their shapeshifter. And in Appalachian there's all kinds of shape-shifting lore. Like the next article I have coming out with the Cryptid Women blog is one on how what we think of as Halloween traditions mostly started as Christmas traditions. And one of them are Christmas werewolves. Have you ever heard of the werewolves of Christmas?
No, but that sounds like fun.
That's what got me started down the rabbit hole, was because I heard about Christmas
That's
werewolves, and I was
Todd's
like, "How have I
favorite
never heard of
werewolves.
this?" So apparently in Appalachia, it was believed that you know how there used to be Old Christmas and New Christmas? So if you were born on Old Christmas, if you were born on that Christmas Eve, Christmas Day window, then it was believed that you were gonna be cursed with lycanthropy as a punishment for basically upstaging Jesus's birthday. And that adult werewolves were most active on Christmas for the whole 12 nights of Christmas, from New Christmas to Old Christmas. And but when I was doing that research about those werewolves, I had never heard of there are actually all kinds of were animals, like were sheep, where everything really. Like it just means you're a shapeshifter, but you turn into this one specific thing. And so like the kelpies are similar, and so there's a lot of overlap. And we don't have a lot of water animals here because we're landlocked, but we do have some like river lore.
We do. We have the Lake Erie
Mm-hmm.
monster thing, and we
Yeah.
have the
Okay, just so you don't think I'm crazy, there's that dude right there. His name's Paul Carrison. You see this cat right here? Look at this guy. So he's got purple. My phone's makes it darker than it really is, but it said that he had light skin and freckles into the 90s. His skin turned blue after he began taking a homemade colloidal silver treatment.
Colloidal silver. That's like
colloidal
mother
And
silver. I
rubbing a
mother
have heard of
silver
god.
that.
preparation on his skin to attempt to treat problems with
Yeah,
his sinuses,
I have heard of that
dermatitis,
from
and
the
acid
colloidal.
reflux.
Mhm.
He
So that dude's
apparently
really
needed
blue.
to be
Just so you
updated on
know,
his
I'm not
cult.
crazy.
Well,
That Love Is One cult, that was the mother god. That's what you ever heard of that? I don't know how much into true crime you are, but I also consume a lot of true crime. And that Love Is One cult, where their leader, they called her Mother God, and she drank colloidal silver like that. And when she had ingested so much colloidal silver, she looked like that. And when she died, she was basically pickled and like mummified because she died so slowly and ingested so much of that colloidal silver.
That's crazy. Yeah, we did a true crime podcast for a little bit a couple years ago, didn't we, Brian? Yeah, so
yes, we
we're
did.
into it. Of course we
True
are.
Crime Nation. Look it up.
I told my husband I wanted to start a true crime podcast with him, as someone who consumes a lot of true crime and with someone that does not consume any. And that I was just going to come to him every week and tell him another terrible story and like have him hear his reaction. And I wanted to call it The Husband Did It. And
That would be a winner. You should do
yeah,
that.
And
I thought so. I thought it was
why haven't you started yet?
God, he wants to start a podcast. The other day, he told me he wanted to start a podcast, but he doesn't want it to just be true crime. He wants it just to be about like anything weird or terrible, and
Okay, nothing wrong
like
with that.
basically like alternate. Like he gets to tell me a terrible story or a weird story one week, and
That's
then I tell him
perfect.
about
What are
something
you
else.
guys waiting for? For goodness
Yeah.
sake,
Time,
you need.
honestly, time and mental capacity, because
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
After you
yeah,
put the
because
kids to bed, it's like
you
9
got a full
o'clock. You
plate.
can
and I get
take
up at
45
4:45
minutes.
for work, so like my
Oh my
internal clock is
God.
like it's
You
bedtime.
work from home and get up at 4:45?
I
Good
have
grief.
so the way our schedules work, because we move we drive our kids to their old school district. We tried a year at the school district near our house, and it didn't go well. So we just moved them back to their old school district, and so they can't ride the bus anymore. So we have to drive them, and to the youngest one's school from my driveway to that school is 30 minutes. So the only way my husband takes them to school every morning before work, and the only way for me to be off in time for me to go get them is if I'm off by 1:30 every day. So I work 5 a.m. to 1:30 every day. So I get up at 4:45 every morning.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We're keeping you up past your bedtime.
No, it's
here.
not yet. My kids are still awake right now.
So we've talked about the werewolf thing, but what are your thoughts about Dogman? Dogman is just a natural creature born that way, a werewolf kind of looking thing that has raccoon kind of hands and stands on two legs, can run on two legs,
Created by the
7 to 9
government.
feet tall,
I don't
maybe created by
know.
a government. What's your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I haven't done too much like in-depth research on Dogman. I'm familiar with the Dogman stories because like there's a lot of dog. That's another one. That's a Scottish crossover, Scottish Highland area crossover Dogman. Um, I don't know. And oh, now also, like I said, people don't willingly offer this up without asking. I've never asked anyone if they have Dogman stories. I can't swear I don't know anyone that has one, but I have never heard of anyone personally knowing a Dogman story. I think they're very interesting. I don't know how much I try not to have the knee-jerk reaction of this is a government involved thing because I feel like it's easy to make that a scapegoat for everything. This is an experiment gone wrong. This is a cover up. This is a lot of the times like the Bigfoot thing, like everybody's like the government's covering. Why? Why would the Bigfoot cover up government the existence of Bigfoot? Like I understand if there's like, well, I kind of understand trying to cover up aliens, but not much. But like, why would they want to cover up another animal that's just out there in the world that was here before we were? And so like I try not to that be my knee jerk reaction, but I also know the government it's extremely shady. So I'm not going to say that they don't have a hand in something. Um I think that Dogman could go one of two ways. I think it's either probably something like what we think it is, or I think it could be maybe mistaken for something else, like seeing it really quickly out of the corner. I don't know. I don't know because I think every story is so different. Every story is so, some stories are so believable and some stories are so fantastical that it's hard to know without like digging in really like what stories are true or not. But I think that it's another one of those like there's been so many people that have said they've seen it that there has to be something to it. I think there has to be something out there. I just don't know what that something is exactly. I try to look at stuff from a biological and realistic scientific side first because I am a big advocate of cryptozoology is science. It's just biology. It's no different. It's just the biologists are studying animals we already know about, and cryptozoologists are trying to weed through what is not real and what is real and trying to find the ones that we know are real. And so I try not to jump immediately to fantastical responses. I try to find something that I can back it up with some kind of research, even if it's circumstantial evidence, it's still evidence. So I don't know for sure what it is, but I think enough people have seen it that I think it's probably something.
Well, let me tell you, up here in Michigan, they believe.
That's a big Dogman area, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's where one of the areas it started in, Wisconsin, Michigan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm teaching a class at one of our local libraries in the spring on obscure, like lesser known cryptids, and the sheep squatch is one that I've been digging into lately. I'm gonna talk about the sheep squatch.
Yeah, we've heard about that one.
Yeah.
That's a weird one too.
Yeah, it's basically Bigfoot with horns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
A little woollier.
Didn't hear about
woollier.
the weird hyena looking creature though too running around. I don't want to say it's a dog man, but people have seen this kind of weird, strange, maybe a hyena looking animal.
Like a chupacabra?
Well, no, more like a hyena, just bigger and had more like that same kind of head. I don't know if people are raising them and letting them get loose or whatever, but
yeah, that's possible. Or like, mange, or what's that thing that deer can get that some people think like the not deer, some people think that it's actually deer that have, is it called like something wasting syndrome?
We actually have a not deer episode.
Yeah, a couple of them.
That's on my list to write about, and that's one that I know that I have several people that are like, we've seen them, we've seen not deer. And so
if you want to get a hold of anybody that we've had on our show to help you with your research and whatever,
I've been working my way through your back
just
catalog.
let us know. Yeah, just let us know. We've had not deers and all that stuff and everything on there, so we can probably talk.
You had a guy on there the other day that it was one of the most believable encounter stories. I say the other day, I honestly don't know when this episode was from because I was just clicking random ones, but it was the guy that was talking about his encounter, and he was like getting audibly upset, retelling you the story. And I was like, nobody would be this honest, because he was talking about that he had like wet himself when it happened, and he was so scared. And I was like, you don't tell people this about if this didn't actually happen to you. And I was like, this is
No, who was that? I remember that one.
And I was, now off the top of my head, I can't remember if it was Bigfoot or Dogman, but it was one of the two.
I think that was a Dogman episode.
I had a couple of them. Honestly.
I think it was Dogman. And it was one of them. And I mean, if he wasn't telling the truth, at least the truth as he saw it, then he needs to be an actor, because that was one of the most believable encounter stories I've ever heard.
It was probably Roy. Was he in Louisiana on the railroad tracks?
I don't remember.
Dogman.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He was in his like 20s when he had the encounter, and he
talked
to his priest. He talked to his preacher about it, or priest about it. That was the only person he had told for a while.
Oh no, who was that, Brian?
I have to go back and look, but it was, I want to say it was Dogman, but it was chilling, his recounting of it, because it was, I think a lot of people who seem less credible to me are people who can't fill in details, because these are canon events. Like, these are not experiences that you forget. So if you're talking to a witness and they're like, I can't remember where I was going that day, yes, you can. If you saw a Bigfoot run out in front of your car, you would remember every detail about that day. And like, you would know, I was going to the grocery store, or I was going to yoga class, or whatever. You would know where you were going when you saw a Bigfoot. And so when somebody says, I was in the car and I can't remember where we were going, but then I was driving down this road and I saw, no. The minute somebody says I can't remember something, I'm like, that's this person. I just checked out of this story. But he could remember every single detail. And when he was telling it, the emotion in his voice sounded so raw, like he was reliving it and was terrified all over again. And I was like, this, at the very least, he believes what he is saying.
I do. I can't remember his name, but I remember, because we had to stop in the middle and
because he was getting choked up.
Collect himself.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them where we've had to do that with. Yeah, and I get chills when I hear that kind of stuff, because I feel the emotion. We feel the emotions too. We know these guys aren't lying to us. Yeah. We've had some guys on the show. We don't know. I mean, they could be making it up. We don't know. We there's no really real way to research it. But
yeah, you just have to take them at their word.
You know,
But yeah, I mean, like you said, there's no way to really check on, people's stories, so we just take them as they are. And
yeah, the best you can do is maybe try and find stories in that area, like, to back up that other people have seen it. But at the end of the day, you have to. It's just their word, and you have to. Their
word, yep.
But that's a red flag for me when someone's like starts to not be able to remember details. Now, if it's a trauma response, like a Bigfoot attacked you or something, and your mind like blacked out certain parts of it, maybe. But if you just saw it, if it ran in front of your car or whatever, and you don't remember where you were going, that's a red flag. Like, you would remember where you were going the day you saw a Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
Or a Dogman or whatever. And so he just, even if he saw a raccoon and he had a mental breakdown in the middle of the woods, like, he believed what he saw, and like, he was very believable.
Keep checking out the stories. We've got some good ones on there. Good episodes.
I was just listening to the
really
Hocking
cool
Hills one
ones.
the other day, because that's pretty close to me. Hocking Hills is just like 45 minutes away. And I went to the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival.
Debbie was on there. Yep. Yeah. We actually found out we actually tracked down which cottage that was that they were staying in.
We did find that.
They saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that was the last Bigfoot one that I did this year, was Hocking Hills.
Yeah, we can't get into that one. That one's tough to get into.
Yeah, we tried.
As vendors.
It's always full as vendors.
Mothman is a real hard one to get into. You ever go to the Mothman Festival?
Let me tell you about Mothman. So Point Pleasant is the closest one to me of all of those. It's like It's like 40. So Hocking Hills is like an hour. Point Pleasant from my driveway is like a 40-minute drive. And on an average Tuesday, Point Pleasant is a lovely town. It is so fun to go. There's tons to do. You've got the museum. You can go out to see the TNT bunkers. They've got blacklight Mothman mini golf. There's a Mexican restaurant that serves a Mothman burrito and Mothman margarita. Now in the historic hotel, they've built a pizza restaurant that has a Mothman pizza. There's the Mothman escape room. It's a fun way to spend the day. I had never been to the festival until this year, and it was horrible. Like, it was, from a vendor perspective, it would be fantastic. There were like 30,000 people there or something. It's only like a 5-6 hour event, and it's outdoors. It was like 102 degrees. It was more crowded than Disney World. It was so crowded that inches in front of you was the next person. You could not take a step. And it was just me and my two kids, as it often is. And if I wasn't holding on to them, they would just get swallowed up by the crowd. And like, it was unbearable. I couldn't even find any of the presenters ever through the whole thing because it was just so crowded and there wasn't like a central location where all the presenters were. We stayed for maybe an hour and my kids were like, "Can we please just go to Wendy's?" Like, this is too much. It was rough. But from a vendor perspective, it would be great because it's great exposure, like tons of people. But it was I love the town of Point Pleasant. I would probably not opt into the Mothman Festival next year.
Well, yeah, we talked about wanting to go. It was like a 5-year wait, I think, when we checked for
That's
a vendor
crazy.
table.
They had so many vendors.
And I don't know if Brian and I could take enough merch to
No, probably not. You'd sell out.
we'd sell out in like 2 hours and be like, okay, let's just walk around.
Yeah.
But I've been to Point Pleasant, not during that festival. Seen the statue and all that. My parents are from south of Charleston,
Oh yeah.
West Virginia. So
Yeah, well, when I played with the Chemical Valley roller derby team, we played half our time in Charleston. So
East Bank and Cedar Grove. Have you ever heard of those towns?
I am not. I'm from the Kentucky side. So like, the extent of what I know about Charleston is the Civic Center, the mall, and where I played roller derby. And so we played it. We played in an old church that the city owned, and they let us skate they had like a basketball gym in there, and we called it the Church of Skating. And because we skated on Sundays, and so we called it the Church of Skating, and that's the extent of what I really am familiar with Charleston.
Not the Church of Satan. The
Nice.
Church of
I like
Skating.
that one. That's a good one.
That is hilarious. So you guys were called the Chemical Girls because Charleston has the chemical plants? Is that what
Yeah,
you guys
Chemical Valley Roller Girls, and our mascot were two girls on their knees, leaning back towards each other, so it was the shape of a biohazard, the way they were leaning, and they were black. It was black and white and red. It was black, and they had black jerseys on and like fishnets and black skates, and they had on gas masks with the red like on the front of the gas mask.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people wonder why they die of cancer and never smoked down there, you know?
No, I don't think
It's
anybody here wonders
crazy.
anymore.
You drive through that area and it's like you can just smell it. It's just horrible.
Oh yeah.
Horrible.
It's a bit better these days because the paper mill closed, the coke plant closed, the steel mill closed. So like all of our big titans of industry that created the area have all since gone under. So the air is probably a bit better, but the water, we've got forever chemicals out the wazoo, and our soil is permanently ruined.
Yeah, get the bottled water for sure.
Yeah.
So do you go out in your property there and hike around, look for Bigfoot?
I don't as much as
have
you
to have
think
some
that I
kind of
would.
activity with that much land. I mean,
I don't as much as you think
besides
that I
cats.
would, because so we live in a very steep valley. Like, all of our property goes up around our house.
You're in a
and
holler?
We're in a holler, and it's in like a hard valley, and nobody has utilized the property in almost 100 years before we did. And so there are no more. It used to be an active cattle farm, so there used to be like paths and stuff that were just naturally organically created by the animals, but those are all grown over, so it's very just thick. There's no. And once you get in it, you really don't know where the park property starts, and so it's easy to get lost up in there. And we had it logged over the summer last year to thin out some of the pasture property so that we could get animals again. And it helps a little bit. You can kind of see, and there are some paths, but they're only close to the house. Like I haven't ventured out, but once I start doing the field research for my thesis, I'm gonna have to. And I did talk to the and my husband goes out all the time. I just don't. But my husband swears up and down he hears things when he's out there. He hasn't really learned enough about like what to look for as far as like structures or like sleeping structures or footprints, other than if he saw a big footprint in the mud, of course he would recognize.
Oh,
But like
yeah.
he doesn't know yet enough about what he should be looking for otherwise, but he hears things. And so once we start work doing the field research, I'll have to start spending more time up there. I think we're going to start with just putting up trail cameras out farther away than his like hunting areas. But I did talk to the Ohio branch of the Bigfoot Research Organization at CryptiCon, and they were talking to me about because they were wanting to get into Wayne, into the park, and they weren't able to get an like official field research study in Wayne. They wouldn't let them come in. I was like, well, I happen to know someone who basically lives at Wayne, and so I think that they are gonna come out here and do like a full on research out here. So that'd be cool to see what they because
Yeah,
no
that'd
matter
be
what
fun.
I do, their equipment is going to dwarf what I have available to me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to see one before them or whatever.
I mean, I live here, so you never know. I'm also
Yeah.
really unobservant, like chronically unobservant, and it's like
Well, that's
anyone
not
will
good
tell
in
you,
this line of work.
unless I'm actively looking for it, like unless I'm out there, like sitting there listening for something, I'd likely, unless it's right in front of me, I am likely to not see it. And that's just in my everyday life. Like we'll be in a mall and my husband's like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "See what?" Like I notice nothing or anything or anyone outside of my like immediate bubble ever. And
Yeah, that's me too, unfortunately. You gotta
I
like
don't know
make
why
your
I'm like
husband
this.
drive and just look in the woods everywhere you go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm like this, but unless I'm actively looking for it, it's I could have seen one and I wouldn't have noticed.
Well, Lacey, it was awesome having you on the show tonight and talking to you. Like you to back on down the road sometime, maybe
Yeah.
with the other gals.
Actually, we are going to see you again next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing the
doing the
virtual
Christmas thing.
We're going to have
Christmas
the
party.
Christmas thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Cryptid
Very
Women's
cool.
Society, they're doing that virtual Christmas party on the
Yeah.
YouTube next week. Yeah.
That's
She-
right. So
They
that should
sent
be
out that
fun.
email and they were like, "Bring your merch." I was like, "I'm not cool enough to have merch, but I will absolutely
Well, you
come in my
could.
costume."
Yeah, Brian, we got to figure that out too.
Yeah,
Talk about
we'll
that.
throw something on there. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do a Santa Mothman. I think it's the route that I'm gonna go.
Right on. Well,
Nice.
I noticed you talked about tattoos and I see it on your hand. Do you have any cryptid tattoos too?
No, I don't. I only one I have is the little tiny dinosaur that you can't see, the little plesiosaur. I have like a design of one that I want to get, but I keep putting it off. And I keep telling myself that when I get out of school, like that's going to be my graduation gift to myself. Is you remember Cupid dolls from like back in like the 50s, and I want a bunch of little Cupid dolls dressed as cryptids. And
That's cool.
like
Yeah.
I have them already designed. I've got like a Mothman and a Cthulhu and a Krampus and like all kinds of like some of them are cryptid, some of them are more like folklore. But yeah, I have a whole like Cupid cryptid sleeve designed. I just don't have any. I haven't got a tattoo in a minute. It's been a while.
Yeah. I'd like to get some too. It's just I can't find the time or the place. But
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was awesome having you on again, Lacey. And
Yes, it was.
we'll
It was
talk to
good
you
to see you
soon
again.
at the Cryptid Women's Christmas party that's going on. And
Yeah,
if you see
looking
anything
forward to that.
else or your husband does or anything like that, let us know and keep in
Yeah,
touch.
please let us
I
know.
will. Once we
Always
get some
keep
new
in touch.
cameras up, hopefully we'll catch something.
Absolutely.
He got a photo the other day of some kind of cat that he was like, "This is a not cat. This is a not deer." And I was like, "Are you sure it's not a bobcat?" And he was like, "No, this is like," and he sent me a picture of a bobcat and he was like, "Look at its face, look at its body." And he was like, "Its tail's not the right size." And
He's
so like,
open though. He knows. He
yeah,
knows something's out there.
we see things that are just strange. We just haven't seen anything that's like a definitive, definitely this or definitely that. But yeah, I
But
mean,
just keep
Don't give up
trying.
hope.
You'll find
Yep.
something.
And good luck
Something's
on
out
your
there.
on your degree and all that stuff
Yeah,
that you're
good
doing
luck
out
with
there
that.
too. So, yeah, just let us know. And if you want to post anything on our Facebook group page, feel free to do that anytime. There
Okay.
in Cryptid Creatures. So,
Well, thank you guys so much for inviting me on. It was a
absolutely,
good
It was
time.
our pleasure.
we'll let you know when you drop the episode. It'll be a couple weeks, maybe 3.
Okay.
Not sure yet, but yeah, we
Okay.
appreciate you being here with us. And
See you Monday.
yeah, take care. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay, let's do the outro real quick. All right, man. That was awesome having Lacey on the show. She's cool.
Yeah, it was.
Cool
That was
talking
fun.
to her, man.
Yep.
She's got a lot going on. She knows it's cool
Yeah, she
having
does,
people on
man.
that.
She's living right in the middle of it.
Absolutely, and cool having people on like her that maybe haven't had an encounter, but they're into what we are and can talk about it. We don't really have a lot of people on the show, or you and I don't do shows where we just talk about the cryptid thing. It's always like get the guest on and hear her story. So we need to do more of that. Do more of that.
And I like the fact that she's also coming from a scientific background too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's always fun to talk to people like that.
Yeah, and she's just a cool, down to earth person as well.
Yeah, she
so
is.
Cool to hang out with, and
Yep.
cool what she's doing. So kind of envy her living down there and having that much land in that area. I mean, there's got to be activity going on.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. Where she's at, man, there's got to be. You
So
just got to get out there and look.
yeah, I'm sure. So awesome having her on, man, for real.
Yep.
See her at the next conference, hopefully. So
hopefully.
All right, my friend. Cool hanging out with you as always. And
always
talking
fun, brother.
about
Always learning.
Bigfoot and all that stuff. So until the next episode, what do you say?
Yep. See ya.